Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Today I'll be teaching you how to perfectly expose your landscape photos. A lot of people ask me, how do you expose your sky while exposing your foreground? A lot of the times when I take the picture of a sky, the foreground is completely dark. And you can see that's the case for this photo as well. You can see the sky very clearly, it looks great, but the foreground, midground is completely dark. And my solution to this is to use bracketing. And what bracketing basically is you're taking multiple exposures of the same image. So I will take an exposure at -2, -1, and +1. So those are my three exposures that I usually take. I think that works the best. So let's take a look at the three photos that we'll be working with. I know a lot of people like to use a histogram, but when you're shooting into the sun, it's very tricky to use a histogram. Most of the time, especially when you're shooting sunsets or sunrises, the histogram will be shifted towards the left. So this is my base exposure. This is at -1 on your light meter. So you can see that there's a little bit of detail. There's some detail in the sky. If I pull down the highlights, we can recover some, but it looks very flat. It doesn't look very good when I recover the highlights. So we're not going to use this part of the image for the sky. We're just using this as a reference image. Alright, now moving on to this photo that you just saw. This is just for the sky. We're just going to take the sky of this image. And then the last image, we have this. So this is for the details of the foreground. We're not going to use the sky, obviously, because it's blown out. Look at what happens if I try to recover the highlights. Nothing, right? We can't even get the streaks in the sky. We're just going to be using the foreground of this image. Okay, so what I want to do is go into Library, select these three images, right click, photo merge, HDR, and then make sure you don't check auto settings. Auto align is fine, hit merge. What Lightroom basically did was take the best parts of each image and combine it into one. So if we decrease the highlights here, you can see that we recover the sky. And if we increase the shadows here, we recover the foreground. From this, I'm going to make a few changes just to make the image more realistic. So I'm probably going to decrease the shadows a little bit, increase the exposure, probably add a little bit contrast, decrease the white, and increase the blacks a little bit just to give it a little bit more pop. I can change the temperature, make it a little bit warmer, probably add a little bit of saturation, and probably add a little bit of contrast as well. Alright, here's before and here's after. Before and after. As you can see, we're able to recover the sky and the details from the foreground through this technique. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it down below, and thank you for watching. See you guys next time.